We've got two banks of cylinders, 6 each bank, with a V12. The spark plugs you'll see mounted there, they're not normally there, they're in the spark plug holes along the side. 2 spark plugs per cylinder, that's for redundancy and safety. And the spark plugs are given their power by these devices called magnetos. Now there's normally 2, one for each bank of cylinders. The left one has gone, it was lost in the crash. But this one still works. So when I turn the engine over, you'll see the spark plugs firing. So you've got 12 plugs here, so that's just the plugs from this bank of cylinders. So no magnetos, so no spark plugs for there. So they've left the top end of the engine on. You'll see this single overhead camshaft, which is operating all the valves for that bank of cylinders. So you've got 4 valves per cylinder. So 2 inlet, letting in the fuel and the air, and 2 for the exhaust, letting the exhaust fumes out. And the exhaust, you can see on the side of the engines there on the Mark 35, you've got the exhaust stacks, no silencers of course. So all the exhaust fumes are coming out of there. And you'll see here, these 2 pistons, the centre 2, are moving together. The outer pair work together and the middle pair work together. So they're not doing all the same thing at the same time. So when these pistons are going down, one is doing its induction stroke, so that's sucking in the fuel and air, helped by the supercharger, which is mounted on the back here. And the other one, going down, is on its power stroke. So at that point you've got the 4 strokes of the piston engine. The induction stroke, sucking in the fuel and air, then the compression stroke, so that's compressing the fuel and air mixture, which heats it up as well. And at the top of that stroke, the spark plug fires just slightly before the top of the stroke. The fuel and air mixture burns, expands rapidly, and that's the power stroke, the piston going down again. On the last of the strokes, that's the exhaust. So then the exhaust valves are opened, and that pushes all the burnt fuel and air out. So there we go. So you'll see those pistons working in pairs but not doing the same thing at the same time. And it's all in the finest traditions of Rolls-Royce, a good, smooth running, relatively quiet engine. But the noise it makes is absolutely wonderful, as you'll hear in a minute. Okay, so here we go. I'll keep the left finger on the spark plug so you can see them firing. Our engineers kindly recently modified them so you could see a little bit more than the little tiny blue flash that normally happens. And these red bits will light up as well as each spark plug fires. Now, bear in mind the maximum RPM for a Rolls-Royce Merlin is 3,000, so not as much as the average car, but that means, nevertheless, that the crankshaft is going around 50 times a second. So all this is very much slowed down. So, here we go. 3, 2, 1, all on. You may have heard when I put my hand over that hole there, a slight hiss. Now that's the air being compressed inside the piston. That's actually the spark plug hole. But it's still producing compression, even after decades underground and having crashed into it at great speed. And there we are, you may have seen all the various bits whizzing around. This bit here is the starter motor. Now Rolls-Royce actually delivered every Merlin with a starter handle. Now just imagine that, trying to crank this thing into life. And the starter handle goes on there, on the end.
Yeah.
What it really sounds like is this.